And welcome everybody to another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I am your host, Louis Sung, and joining me is Ron Canniff, my faithful co-host who has always been here just when we need him. So thank you, by the way, for the last time that we did Pulse of Fins Nation. I was on the road driving from Texas to Florida with my fiance, and now I am here. You are finally seeing what is the beginnings of my new place.
So you're in Texas now?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And now we're also joined by Alfredo Arteaga, who is rocking a white background instead of a black one now.
Yeah, I had to run because I had to create my entire profile for StreamYard for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I had to do a whole new thing. So I had to just rush and put a background in there, and that's what I got.
Still haven't been able to get your camera up and running so we can see that badass 3 yards per carry background.
Nah, I got it running, but I just couldn't get it running for this because I was doing some other work because I was on OnlyFans, and we're onboarding a new feature that we won't divulge here. You have to be on OnlyFans to learn about it, but I've been handling that, so it's been a busy 2-3 days.
I imagine so. So today, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, so Anthony Manzano, yo, Louis, Ron, and Alf. Yes, yo to you.
What's up, Anthony?
Really glad to have you here.
What is up?
We're going to be having a lot of fun today because, ladies and gentlemen, since the draft is it's Thursday, it officially starts on Thursday. It's that time of the year. We're going to be doing a mock draft, Ron's favorite activity ever.
It is if it's fantasy. Actually, I haven't played fantasy in like 3 or 4 years, but I used to obsess about fantasy mock drafts. It's just a lot more difficult to predict in the regular NFL.
Well,
a lot easier in fantasy.
Well, you know what, man? Even if you can't actually get anything going as far as your fantasy football draft, you know where you can get some fantasy sports going? This is the perfect segue. Come on, don't let me down.
Prize Picks?
Yes!
It would have been more hilarious if I had said you'd break wheel fix. No,
we'll get into them in just a moment. But yes, prizepicks.com. Today is actually Taco Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't already gone to prizepicks.com to take advantage of the discounted offers that they give you, they are the revolutionary fantasy platform where you can now pick up to 6 different players across professional sports leagues, whether you want to take on the NFL, whether you want to do the MLB, or the NBA playoffs, which Jimmy Butler just went way over his stat projection. Or you can just pick one league of everything. It's up to you to decide. All you have to do is just choose whether the player will get more or less than their projected stat. They have, of course, the Taco Tuesdays that I mentioned today. They have discounted picks on that. They give you freebie picks to take advantage of. They give you Flex Friday promos where you can make your money back if you lose or even multiply the amount of money that you can normally win. With offers like that, it's hard to justify not signing up for Prize Picks at this point. So make sure you use the promo code 5, that's FIVE, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. So that means you put in $100 when you sign up using our promo code, and Prize Picks will literally give you $100 of their dollars for you to play with before you even have to touch your money. So again, use promo code 5, that's FIVE, go to prizepicks.com and get started today. And of course, we also have our other sponsors, You Break Wheel Fix. You Break Wheel Fix is the best wheel repair nation spot that you can ever find. So just if you've ever been too close to the sidewalk curb, you park it, you mess it up, they're going to be able to take care of you. You Break Wheel Fix specializes in the repair of damaged wheels from bends, cracks, or of course curb rash. Or if you don't want to replace them, You Break Wheel Fix can refinish them to like new. They offer complete refinish options through powder coating, machining, and polishing. You Break Wheel Fix is the answer to all of your wheel needs. Or if you're just looking to give your ride a new look, they can also help you out with that. You Break Wheel Fix offers many car customizing options, such as new custom wheels, tires from your favorite brands, performance upgrades, window tinting, suspension modifications. So if you want to give your car or your truck or your whatever an ultimate Dolphins experience, make it look some really cool stuff, all you got to do is reach out to Mark and his staff at 305-748-0112 or online at youbreakwheelfix.com. They're active on all social media platforms at You Break Wheel Fix, so shoot them a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter and get an estimate in just minutes. Again, that's Mark and his staff at You Break Wheel Fix, 305-748-0112. Reach out to them today and get started. All right, folks. So this is the moment.
Before you get into this, can you bring up just on your own screen the promo copy for for what you just read?
Why would I wait? Why you want me to let my people in my script?
I'm gonna ask you a question. I need you to bring it up first.
I feel like this is completely breaking all protocol with things. This is like, I'm not doing that. So you can go ahead and ask your question.
Look at you, man.
You can ask your
one
question.
word. I had a question about one word.
There were probably typos in the one I gave you, so I apologize.
Yeah.
I did not have time to proofread everything.
Machining. So how do you spell machining, and how's it spelled on that damn copy you sent me? Because I sounded like an idiot every single time I tried to read it.
MACHINING, machining.
That's what it says on there. It says MACHING.
MACHINING. That's what it spells.
I just can't read then.
Welch, where's Alf's beautiful face? His camera works. He just didn't have time to get it all set up. So
yeah, because I got 3 screens going right now, and I'm actually watching a little film too. So
there you go. So he's really doing some multitasking here. So Alf, I'll go ahead and ask you, because I guess between all of us, you're probably the resident expert on the draft and doing mock drafts and stuff like that. Where would you go to do a mock draft right now? Because I usually default to the Draft Network, but I'm not paying, so I'm very cheap, so I'm not gonna do that. So would you just go default back to Fanspeak, or would you use some other location for that sort of thing?
I've always liked PFN, but lately it's kind of funky.
Yeah, that was the thing, because I done my show Fins Nation a couple nights ago, and I did my mock draft, and that was the draft. That was the draft simulator that I was using that let me draft Darnell Washington at 51. I'm like, no.
Yeah, here's the problem I have with a lot of these simulators. If I have too good of a draft, like if I win the Super Bowl in 5 minutes, there's a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it should be a little bit harder. Like there should be a screw up somewhere. Like I should be doing my board and figuring out, okay, I think I could get this guy with pick 84. And then I'm completely wrong because my board was wrong. Like, I think that's better. So I try to look for, and I haven't found one yet. I try to look for the mock draft machines that actually beat me and make me screw up, And not that I'm great at drafting, it's just that these things seem way too easy to beat.
Yeah, for real.
But isn't it always like this, Alf, especially in the regular draft? You sit there and you'll do a draft, and at 51, you'll be like, there's no way that dude's going to be there 51. I mean, I'll take him.
Yeah.
Right? That happens. But in the real life, someone is going to be sitting at 51, and everyone's going to be asking, why is this guy still on the board? You just don't know who that person is.
It happened last time. It happened. Yeah. It happened a couple of years ago. Remember, we were sitting around. We're like, wait a minute. Why is Creed Humphrey still, floating around out there? And sure enough, he got taken. What? Well, where did he get taken? 36, 36 or something like that.
I thought it was lower than that. Even it was.
All of us and everybody thought he was easily a first round pick, and should have been in the top 30 at least. But he went like 36. So he went like.
But he should have gone in the first round because he's a good player.
Easily.
Yeah. So
easily. And what he's done since, has kind of opened our eyes to it. He actually is a great player, and most of us were right when we were looking at Creed Humphrey, and this is no revelation. This is not like we found a hidden gem. Everybody who's ever watched him play knew he was going to be a great center in the NFL, and sure enough, he's a great center in the NFL.
I guess sometimes a position like that, it's about what teams are prioritizing as well. I mean, you can see a guy who's just a surefire center, right, for the NFL. It can play for 10 years, but there's sometimes teams just will prioritize other positions over center. Even if this guy's going to be a better center than this guy will be wide receiver on the grand scale, you may decide I really got to take this wide receiver or what have you. So it just could be one of those funky positions where that happens. Whereas if the guy's like a tight end or a quarterback, maybe less likely to be passed on for so long when it's obvious he should be a first rounder.
Yeah. And, what I keep telling people when they ask, should they be moving up? Should they be moving down? Man, at 51, all you got to do is just dig it. If you dig into any of these draft guides, or if you go on any of the draft sites and you start looking at these prospects, and then, YouTube has gotten so good at this. Okay. I wanted to find a game from 2022. It was actually Minnesota Golden Gophers against Wisconsin Badgers. I wanted to look for that game because I wanted to see Keanu Benton play against John Michael Schmidt. Okay. And by the way, John Michael Schmidt is a do-over on Creed Humphrey. Can he be there at 51? I kind of doubt it, but crazier things have happened. And, I kind of liked Chris Kaufman, my partner on 3 yards per carry, his philosophy on this. You got a problem on the offensive line? You don't got to sit there and pigeonhole yourself into waiting for that perfect right tackle to come along. Go get a great center and move Connor Williams to left guard, or get a great left guard, and now you have 4 positions that you get to be pretty happy with. And my philosophy with a shorter quarterback, if you have 2 good centers, I have 2 good guards and a good center, your shorter quarterback should be very, very happy stepping up into the pocket. And man, if they could pull off something like that, get a really good left guard, keep Connor Williams at center, you have Robert Hunt. Imagine you get a Steve Avila at 51. That'd be awesome. If you get a John Michael Schmitz and you play him at center, you move Connor Williams to left guard. You have Connor Williams, John Michael Schmitz, who's probably the best center in this draft, and Robert Hunt at right guard. That's pretty good, man. So that's what I keep telling people. That's what I keep telling people that keep asking, man, at 51, you're going to get a good player. It's going to be hard to screw it up, but, if you
what number did we draft Liam Eichenberg at?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, with all due respect, Liam Eichenberg, a lot of really talented draft gurus and people have been saying Liam Eichenberg was supposed to be good, so we don't know what happened there. Like, even Kyle Krabs was like, no, Liam Eichenberg is just what the Dolphins need. It just didn't work out that way for some reason.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
That's most people thought, the pundits thought he was going to be good.
So what I'm going to go ahead and do, we're going to get started with this actual mock draft here. So I have 2 simulators up right now. I have FanSpeak, which is ready to go. And I also have, because I have to pay for Pro Football Focus and all the other stuff, I went ahead and I pulled up that draft simulator too. So I'll leave it to you, Al. Which one do you think would probably be better for this?
Hit Pro Football Focus. I've never used that one. So
okay, so
you have that one on there?
I have it on here. I'll just go ahead and pull it up real quick. I've
never used it. Is that any good?
I have never used it either. This would be a brand new experience for me completely.
Did Pro Football Network not have one available, Lewis?
I don't want to use them.
I'm just kidding. Lewis is not about my jokes today. He is like, go away, Ron.
Maybe we're in the wrong business here. Although we're doing pretty good on our podcast. Maybe we should start our own draft simulator site. And what we do is that we make all the picks. And we try, like, we see, okay, this guy picked the Dolphins as his favorite team. Let's just screw him over. We know everybody that and we're on our end, and we get to watch everybody who signs up on our site to do the mock draft simulator. And we just screw up every single one of their picks. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I like it. Just for screwing up people's picks. Can we screw up other teams' picks too?
Anthony Manzano says use Draft Lounge. I've never heard of Draft Lounge before.
All this talk about all these mock draft simulators, as soon as I get done here, I'm asking Chris Kaufman and Simon Clancy, how do we get our own? And we're just going to launch one for next year.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. You think people wouldn't jump at the chance to have a 3 yards per carry mock draft simulator for the Dolphins? Absolutely.
I'm sure something like that, and it all feeds from one. Like all those are feeding their information from one spot, Lewis. You know what I mean? Like in my business, I'm like in the parts business, and we have to know that every part of everything everywhere, and so does every other business that I have like that. But we're all feeding from one main database site. So it's probably the same thing. It's probably not as hard of having to enter in all that information. I doubt it. I'm sure it could just be fed in automatically and continuously updated. It may not be as hard as you think.
Yeah, I'm thinking it should be pretty good until somebody asks us for like $50,000 to build it, and then we just got.
Then it's no good anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what, I
then that's when I go back on PFF and use theirs.
I know some people. Maybe we can make it work. I know some people who could possibly help with that. So, Anthony, before we get started, Anthony wants me to read his comments. So this is what the show's about. This is the Pulse of Fins Nation. So let's read what's making his heart beat right now. So he's making a big prediction that we trade up twice in this year's draft. We trade up in the second round with our first trade and get Mozzie Smith, and then they trade up into the second round to draft Jack Campbell. Limited capital this year, but we can trade future in 2024. I think he meant to say 2024 and 2025. So
Jesus Christ, we have first, second, fifth, and sixth next year. So he wants to empty out all the picks next year too.
He wants to. I smell the desire for a Super Bowl there. I think.
Yeah.
So
it's a great move. Yeah, like if you get those two guys, great. First of all, it's not Mozzie Smith, it's Motzi, as in like Nazi.
Oh,
okay. It's Motzi
okay,
Smith.
maybe they shouldn't draft him.
Okay. All right. So it's man, you get Motzi Smith and Jack Campbell, like holy crap. Like, yeah, GM of the year. But then next year you're getting fired because you got no draft picks.
You're probably not getting fired if you win the Super Bowl.
That's true too,
I think, I have no problem with them selling out for the next year.
I talked about this very briefly because we've been in draft mode for like a month, but I talked about this briefly on the last podcast. You gotta start saving some of these draft picks because a lot of these guys are getting really expensive going forward, and you're gonna have to start replacing some of these guys with cheaper labor.
Yep, I've been saying the same thing too. Mind you, I did advocate for drafting up into the first round if your guy is available there, whether that's a Darnell Wright or a Darnell Washington or whoever happens to be falling for whatever ungodly reason. If you're really pushing for the Super Bowl this year, then yeah, go up there, get your elite guy, and then everything else can be undrafted free agents this year if you want. But I wouldn't want to dip too far into the future assets because you're going to have to start replacing some of these guys. Now, I will go ahead I will refer back to the mock draft that I did on FanSpeak for my show on Monday, for as we go along. But this is what the mock draft simulator looks like on Pro Football Focus. So it looks like you have the option of doing advanced settings. So obviously we're going to go all 7 rounds because the Dolphins don't have anything in the middle rounds. So draft for needs, less, more, care for positional value, public versus PFF board. I don't know. Do you want me to tweak any of these things here?
Let's use the public board.
Yeah.
So the fully public board.
Yeah, because when you use a public board, you're actually working with human beings. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the PFF board could be kind of wacky because they're gonna have their own rankings at certain spots. So then that's how you get like a weird first round pick. Public board, you're basically drafting against other people, other human beings. Which is
kind of going average draft position is what's going to set the board, I would guess.
Yeah, and I think
people's mocks.
That's a great way to set this up.
All right, so I guess we're good here. Care for positional value, draft for need, randomness. I don't even know how to qualify that, but I say we're good. Then let's do it.
Randomness is like Bill Belichick busting out with another bust in the first round. Is the randomness.
That's not random. That's almost
that's a guarantee. All right, so let's
By the
go
way,
ahead and
great bet. I hate to interrupt you, but great bet. And it's not on one of our sponsors, so I won't say their name, but I found it. This is a spectacular bet, and I'm thinking about putting a nice chunk on this. Tell me what you think. You have the AFC East, Jets, Dolphins, Bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jets, Dolphins, and Bills can all split their games. And if they sweep the New England Patriots, they'll all go 4-2 inside of the division. Right?
Okay.
And the Patriots would go 0-6, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What odds do you think you can get on betting the Patriots going 0-6 in the AFC East? Because I found it, and I'm thinking about betting it.
I mean, if Mac Jones is their quarterback still,
I don't know. You can get that at I'm just completely throwing a number out there. I have no idea, like a 48-1 or something.
No. That's way too much.
No, too much. Okay, so like an 11-1 or something like that.
Pretty close. You want to try, Lewis?
Let's do 15-1.
No, you went over. It's plus 875. Okay, so it's essentially 8.75 to 1. All right, so
like 9-1.
I think it's a great bet. I think all 3 teams, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, go 4-2, and then whoever does better outside of the division wins the division. And the Patriots are gonna have an awful season, and I think they go 0-6. I'm looking for that bet, and I'm hunting it, and I'll play it. I just got to make sure that Lamar Jackson doesn't end up there. That's all.
In New England, I don't see that being a thing.
I don't see it happening either. But yeah,
he's going. I just got to make sure.
I just got to make sure it doesn't happen, and then yes, I am betting that.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So obviously we set it up so that everybody goes fast. They give me the opportunity to offer trades before the draft starts. So we have our picks in 2024 and 2025 if we want to trade with other teams. So I don't know if this is something, because I said that I would want to trade up, but there's nobody that I would need to see somebody fall before that happens. So I guess I'll slow down the draft speed just in case. So let's go ahead and start the trade, or start the draft rather.
All right, pause it.
That's too slow. That's too
pause
fast.
It.
Okay, so we've got first 7 picks.
You know what? Let's get to 10, and then I think we could briefly go over the top 10.
Okay.
Let's get the top 10.
Man, a lot of quarterbacks went in the first 7 picks. Holy crap! Did you guys see that?
All right,
so we're
let's
at
do
10
this.
Picks.
All right, let's do this. All right, let's go. Number 1. Who went number 1? No, that makes
Bryce
sense.
Young.
So I really like C.J. Stroud, number 2. So yeah, that's fine with me.
So wait, Alf, are we not buying into the whole Will Levis telling everybody that he's being picked first?
Nah, that's BS.
No.
I think that's BS. That's BS. I trust Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer went on everywhere today and said that Bryce Young is a lock at number 1, and not only is he a lock at number 1, the Texans wanted him at number 2. So, and the Texans are undecided according to him. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. This is pretty good right here. Will Anderson at 3 is perfect. Will Levis, Jalen Carter, man, Seattle. I don't know. Tyree Wilson, he has to go high. Anthony Richardson, man, that looks exactly how Josh McDaniels what he would do.
That's a terrible pick.
Paris Johnson, I love that for Atlanta at 8. That's a great pick at 9 for the Bears. Peter Skoronski, he's not going to be a tackle in the pros. He's just going to be a Pro Bowl guard, and that's a pretty good thing. At 10, that's the best cornerback in the draft, and the rich get richer. That's a great pick for
That's not fair.
The Eagles.
You think they would do that pick though, considering? I mean, did they lose? Didn't they lose a cornerback? Actually, they did, didn't they?
They cut Darius Slay, and then they said, oops,
they re-signed him.
Yeah, they brought him back.
They brought him back after they cut him. So
yeah, that's right. So I don't know if they would do that then. I was thinking, they lost Slay, but I forgot they re-signed him.
Cheap labor and really good player.
Yeah,
love it. I love that pick for them.
So is there anybody on the board right now that you would be saying, you know what, let's go ahead and try to get a trade up?
We don't have the ammunition to move up there.
Yeah, we had to trade. Yeah, we'd be trading a lot.
First. We had to trade our first next year too.
There's a force this trade button. That's funny. It's override Madden rules. All right,
we have no hope of getting into the first round until we're in the late 20s.
All right, so let's keep going.
So let's run the next 10.
Maybe we stop it at. Oh, we're gonna do the next 10. Okay.
Let's go 10 by 10.
So we've got Darnell Wright just went, Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith, Joey Porter Jr., Brian Branch, and Broderick Jones stopping there. We forfeited our 21st, our next pick. Thank you very much, Bruce Beal.
Awesome. So we get to look at who's on the board and what.
I don't even want to think about that.
All right, let's go. Let's do this last 10. What got taken at 11?
So that was Jackson Smith. I don't even know how to say that. Okay.
And Jackson Smith Najiba is a really good wide receiver. Great pick. Thank God Bijan Robinson went to the Texans right there at 12 because I would have hung up.
Could you imagine though they get Stroud and they get Robinson? What a way to start, restart. You got
Christian Gonzalez, nice player. Lucas Finesse, I don't like him, but he's such a Patriot player. Darnell Wright, man, that's a good pick for the Jets. Like if the Jets got Darnell Wright at 15, I'd be thinking, man, first of all, they won't have a left tackle, so Jalen Phillips is going to kill Aaron Rodgers, but they'll have a right tackle, and Darnell Wright, I kind of like that pick for them. Miles Murphy, I'm not too hot on him at 16. Nolan Smith is a very, very nice player. He's going to play for a very long time at 17. Joey Porter Jr., really nice player at cornerback. I love him. 19, Simon loves Brian Branch. And he thinks he's a guy that could drop into the 30s that would make Miami actually think about it. At 20, Broderick Jones, nice player. I don't have a strong opinion on him as whether he's going to be really good or not.
And then forfeited. Whoa, it's so upsetting. Thank you very much for ruining our whole lives with the Tom Brady nonsense.
Let's run the next 10.
All right, next 10. Here we go. Deontay Banks, Michael Mayer, Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnston, Osiris Torrance, Kalijah Cansey, Jordan Addison, Anton Harrison, Will McDonald IV, Dalton Kincaid, and Brian Breesy, and that is the end of the first round.
All right.
So you know who I just noticed did not get picked, and I can't believe it?
Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington.
All right, let's go back to the what was the first pick? The
21.
21. Okay, yeah, I love Deontay Banks. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. No chance that he drops to Miami. That's probably where he's going to go. 21 makes a lot of sense to the Chargers. Chargers need a cornerback, so absolutely that makes sense for them.
Michael Mayer.
I don't know about that. They already have the second best tight end in football. Why would they take another tight end?
So is Darnell Washington not the consensus best guy on the board?
No, Dalton Kincaid is probably the best tight end on the board.
And he went down here.
Yeah, he went in the first round, which is pretty good. And Zay Flowers, I love that for Minnesota. Minnesota needs a wide receiver. Quentin Johnston, big, strong wide receiver for the Jaguars. Not what they need. They need more speed. I don't like that pick for the Jaguars. Osiris Torrance, this is kind of important. He goes here at 25. Miami has had a lot of contact with him. He's out of Florida, very smart, rangy type guard, capable of playing center, a little center, but also capable of playing tackle. But he's a guard at the next level, and he makes a lot of sense. If you're thinking about moving Robert Hunt to right tackle, Osiris Torrance makes a lot of sense. If the Dolphins were lucky enough to get him at 51, and that's if they have him high enough on their board, I think you put him at left guard, you start him day one, and forget about it. Kalijah Cansey, great player at 26. He's a guy I would hate for Buffalo to get their hands on because he's what Ed Oliver was supposed to be. I love Kalijah Cansey, one of my favorite prospects in this draft. Bills take Jordan Addison. Nice possession type, professional wide receiver. He doesn't scare me. Anton Harrison is one of my favorite players in this draft, and that's a spectacular pick for the Bengals. He actually reminds me of Teron Armstead. Now, it's not that he's a lock to be great, but I think that's a guy that Miami can take, plug him in a right tackle, and when Teron Armstead leaves in a couple of years, you just move him over to left tackle, and you'll be fine. A lot of people like him. Some people are a little suspicious. Our own Chris Kaufman is kind of suspicious on Anton Harrison. Like, he's not too sure on him. I think he's going to be a nice player. That's a career I'm interested in following. Will McDonald, no real opinion. Dalton Kincaid, really nice tight end. Spectacular pick for the Eagles. The Eagles just murdered this entire draft, by the way. And Brian Breesy is a guy that I think Miami would have looked long and hard had they not lost that forfeited pick. I think Brian Breesy would have been right there at the top of their list. Think if you could have drafted Zach Sealer. Okay? That's who Brian Breesy is. All right. I don't know if you guys want to run another 10 or you want to run them by 5x5s.
Well, the Dolphins are getting up close. So now here's what I'm thinking here. So we're getting into the second round, and somebody who Miami could really use, Darnell Washington, is coming up now. So now I'm looking through the teams here that currently have needs, right? And I know that the Miami Dolphins have some players who you could conceivably put on the trade block. So I'm looking at Atlanta here. They have need at edge. So you have the option down here to be able to take players. So wait. Kyle Loxley. I think this is old. Devontae Deadman. Yeah, it's a little bit on the older side, but there is a guy here who you could potentially trade out. And I see Emmanuel Ogbah, and I see that the Falcons need an edge player. So could we potentially move up a little bit and try to trade with the Atlanta Falcons to get a guy?
No, because Emmanuel Ogbah's contract is prohibitive going forward past this year. He's imminently cuttable in a year, and he's extremely useful for the team this season. So
you wouldn't touch Ogbah anyway?
No, I wouldn't touch Ogbah anyway because you're not going to get the return you can get that you want, Like if you can actually swing a trade, I don't think it's realistic because they got to look at it from Atlanta's point of view. From Atlanta's point of view, man, this board is loaded right now for edge players, for everything that they need. There's still a quarterback on the board for them.
Well, we also have a wide receiver, though. Well, he's not on Cedric Wilson.
Yeah, Cedric Wilson's not going to cut it there. Cedric Wilson's more of a pick swap guy. Like Cedric Wilson's a guy.
Well, I'm not trading up. I'm not going to trade straight up. I'd bake like, hey, here's 84 and Cedric Wilson. You give us your pick 44.
I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough for pick 44.
Not to go 40 spots in this part of the draft. Not even close.
No, not even close. I think Cedric Wilson's good for a pick swap where we could trade Cedric Wilson in our 5th round pick to get into the 4th round. I think that's what you can do with Cedric Wilson.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep going then. So we're gonna go jump right into the third round, or second round, excuse me. So Drew Sanders, Kelly Ringo, Emmanuel Forbes, DeJuan Jones is gone now.
John Michael Schmitz, that's important. He's gone right there. Cody Mock, Darnell Washington goes.
There goes Darnell Washington.
All right, so we'll stop there for now.
All right, let's run these down. All right, Drew Sanders, really nice player. I like him from Arkansas. Kelly Ringo, I don't like him too much. His tape is terrible. But,
So is this one of those Noah Igbenogany type things? Good athlete?
Maybe, but, good reputation. I'm not too hot on him. Emmanuel Forbes, good player. That he goes to 34 here is, wow. DeJuan Jones at 35, I guess if you got a need and, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. John Michael Schmitz is a perfect pick for the Charger. I mean, is that the Chargers? Or the Rams?
Oh, wait, so that's the Rams.
Yeah, because I was going to say, why would the Chargers want to replace Lindsey already?
God,
and there he is.
Put him back in San Diego.
There he is. Matty Smith at 37. Jalen Hyatt. I like that pick for them. Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a big one at 39.
Would we consider? I mean, we're hearing it, but
we've been hearing about it. Yeah, the whole trading up.
Would we consider getting this close? Would they actually? I don't think they would. I don't think they're trading up for a running back, Alf. But what do you think?
Look, I think you're going to get ready this year because look, remember last year the ammunition was there was nothing. We had nothing in the barrel, okay? Because we had just finished emptying out our gun to get Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So we really had nothing to trade to actually target a guy last year, right? But we know they wanted Rachaad White. So we know that they had, we know that they had an idea. They had an idea of what they wanted, right? So maybe this is the year where Mike McDaniel is really hot on a guy and they're close. And because remember, every team is doing the same thing we're doing right now. The other thing is that they're not sitting in front of a computer and having a computer pick the guys, right? They're trying to use their own information, their own intel to build their own mock draft. And then right now in a room somewhere in Miami Gardens is Chris Greer talking to his scouts, talking to Mike McDaniel, and they're looking at their board and they're looking at pick 39 and they're saying, man, do you think the Panthers would take this and this for us to move up to take Jahmyr Gibbs, let's say? And then they'll debate it. And then they'll think about, okay, what do our scouts say about what Carolina might want or might be willing to accept in a trade? And then they're probably game planning through all of these things. That looks like such a perfect pick for Carolina. They essentially replaced Christian McCaffrey with a guy who's extremely similar to Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I guess that's the danger. If you're hot for Jahmyr Gibbs, I think this draft right here has done a pretty good job of exposing who's the danger if you really want him. So if you're watching the draft on Friday night, I think this is pretty good. Watch pick 39. I think pick 39 is important. If Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins want Jahmyr Gibbs, of course.
But here's the thing, though, because we've been hearing the fire that's been going around with Dalvin Cook has been heating up again. So if the Vikings cut him, which I'm still not convinced that they will, I think before they cut him, they'll literally just take whatever offer is given onto them at this point, because I really think they would rather get something rather than nothing for their former star running back. So if you have the option between trading up and getting rid of more picks to get Jahmyr Gibbs and just offering the Vikings something along the lines of maybe a 4th or a 5th round pick to get your hands on Dalvin Cook,
I think that's
I'm honestly towards
much.
the latter.
I think you could get Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is a pick swap situation. So
okay, so even better.
Like I'll give you an example. Look, can you look up what picks the Vikings have?
Let me see if I can do that. Okay, so Vikings, Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings they already picked 23. They have 87, 119, 158, and 211. And I think this one's a comp pick.
Okay. I could see very, very clearly, okay, the Dolphins trading 84 for Dalvin Cook and 119. You know?
Do you want to try that?
Why not? It'd be fun. Why not?
I think I could see them do it because, man, you know what? It's a bad spread of picks that they got. That's the only thing. Because the thing is that we're picking lower than them in the later rounds.
Okay, so for what it's worth, PFF says this trade will not be accepted.
Yeah, well, I bet you they wouldn't have accepted a third for Ramsey either.
No, you're asking for too much. You have to move it to 119.
Oh, 119.
Yeah.
Also will not be accepted.
Okay, PFF is wrong.
Yeah, they would have never taken that Ramsey trade. No way. A third for Ramsey, it wouldn't.
Yeah, trust me. Dalvin Cook has no value, none.
Okay, well, you know what? This is why I don't like doing trades in mock drafts because it's always unrealistic one way or the other. You're either going to absolutely fleece the other team or you're going to get fleeced. There's no in between.
So Alf, so your trade thought there is the Vikings will end up. We'll be getting rid of what do we have 84, right? So we won't have 84 anymore, but we'll have Dalvin Cook, but we will have gained 119. But Minnesota would have 87 and 84. Right. And give us a player that they want to dump the contract and want to get rid of anyway. Right. I think a 1,000,000 to 1 chance they say yes to that for sure. Like, and they would absolutely say yes to that.
And to be honest with you, the more I look at it, we're giving up how many spots? It's 13.
It's a lot.
It's 33 spots.
Yeah, you basically be giving up a really good player just to get your hands on Dalvin.
And there's going to be some good players left at 84.
You know what? We're in a different world. We're in a different world than we were in 5 minutes ago. We got to renegotiate this thing. Okay.
Oh, you don't like it?
You want to try again?
I'm starting to think I don't like it. Like I'm trying to look at, like, where is the deal here on a pick swap?
Well, what if we take their 119 and their 158? What if we took both those?
Indade says trading for Cook is so disappointing. Dude wants to be in Miami. The Vikings don't want to pay him. Plays a devalued position, and he says we're better than that to do that. Says don't bother trading for Cook.
Yeah, we're not better than that. We're on YouTube and we're having a good time trying to swing a deal here.
Yeah, I personally am not better than much. I'm just saying. But
yeah,
thanks for the confidence anyway.
Like, trust me. Who was it who said that? Indade.
Yeah,
trust me.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, trust me, Indade. What we do here will have no bearing whatsoever on what they do. I don't think Chris Greer is watching us right now saying, you know what, maybe that could work.
You know what? I like this idea with the 119. Make the call.
Listen, whatever Chris Greer can basically do whatever he wants as far as trades. If you can get a third rounder and Hunter Long and get Jalen Ramsey out of it, I sincerely doubt that anything that PFF says will not be accepted. I guarantee something crazy would happen with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. Do you think these guys will do trades and then go in here and say, let's see if Madden actually lets me do this trade? Denied. And then, pat themselves on the back.
All right, so should we keep going?
I got an idea. Okay.
All right.
Minnesota needs a wide receiver, right?
Oh, you want to give him Cedric Wilson?
Cedric Wilson and 197
for Dalvin Cook.
And 211.
The trade will not be accepted.
They're wrong.
I think this algorithm, what have you.
I mean, they're looking at it from a.
I think they value Dalvin Cook too much.
PFF is looking at it from a perspective of how much of a good player Dalvin Cook is when he's healthy. They're not taking into account that the Vikings don't want to pay him. They're not taking into account that Dalvin Cook is always injured. They're not taking into account.
They're not taking into account that the Dolphins, if they trade for Dalvin Cook, might be very likely renting him because they're not going to give him a new contract, and he's imminently cuttable in a year. So If you look up his contract right now, it looks like, oh my God, he's owed like $45 million. No, he's not. Almost none of it is guaranteed. You could cut him for damn near nothing as soon as you get him, right? So he's here for a year. He's gonna want a new contract. So yeah, you can make. That's why you could trade peanuts and get Dalvin Cook. You know,
that's why you can trade peanuts and get Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly.
So that's why I don't like doing trades in these mock draft simulators, because it removes the human element from the discussion. You're basically playing against Commander Data. He's looking at it from a logical standpoint and removes all of the human emotion.
Exactly.
That's funny.
So
it's like trying to trade with Mr. Spock.
This is not a logical trade, Captain.
Exactly.
Not instinct, Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock's NFL mock trade tool.
There goes Darnell Washington.
Yep. So Jahmyr Gibbs, BJ Ojolari.
Cody Mock, by the way, Cody Mock's an interesting one. He could play almost everywhere on the offensive line. Good player. Keon White, no opinion. Cam Smith, nice player for the Jets. Like the Jets, that's a good pick for the Jets.
Well, Miami's coming up, so let's just go ahead and get to Miami, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
Whoa, the Patriots took Jack Campbell. That's a hell of a pick. And that's heartbreaking right there. Okay, Hendon Hooker to Washington is the Commanders is nice. Luke Musgrave to Detroit. I don't like him, so he's fine. Julius Brents, no opinion, don't care. Steve Avila, that's heartbreaking. He goes to Tampa Bay.
Man, that would have been so nice. I've heard you guys talk about him a lot at 51.
Yeah, that guy, Steve Avila, man, if you draft him at 51, like if the Dolphins took Steve Avila at 51, I would stand up from my seat and applaud and just say, beautiful. These guys just got a guy who's going to start at left guard the entire year, you know? Because that's a guy that walks into the door and he's the starting left guard tomorrow. And Liam Eichenberg is going to have to find another place to play, you know?
Or just be a backup.
Yeah, or just be a backup. Steve Avila, man, he strikes me as the kind of guy that's going to play 10 years in this league at left guard. I would love him at 51. I think it's a great pick if they do get him. Now at 51, wow.
I already know
There's
who I'm
the
picking.
guy.
I already know who I'm picking. I know who I'm picking, but
now Sam Laporta, he's going to play a lot of snaps. But let's look at it from a bunch of different scenarios, okay? Who is going to play the most snaps? Okay? So let's look.
Like once they get going, or are we talking in 2023?
This season, okay?
Yes.
Which means that they'll report. They will report in June, and in June they're being told you're going to play 800 snaps, buddy.
No, Laporta. No tight end we draft, especially in this area, is going to play 800 snaps season one. Not at that position. That's the least likely position for us to see that happen. I mean, it all went to shit at tight end. Like everybody got hurt or something. If that happens, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Durham Smythe is going to play a lot, so that's going to happen.
Yeah,
but I'm looking at it from the perspective of, number one, you have Durham Smythe, who's a really good blocker, but he offers almost nothing as far as catching value. He's not a weapon from any point of view.
No, but I'm going to tell you something that they're going to want and they're going to like, okay? Look up all the tight ends. If you could put all the tight ends on the board, I want to show you something that's kind of a telltale sign. You see the second guy right there?
Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State.
Yes. They've had a lot of contact with him. He is essentially drawn. Like if you could draw up the best fit at tight end in this entire draft for the Miami Dolphins and for this system, it's that guy. It's Tucker Kraft. His play, as far as his yak ability, the way he catches it in traffic, his blocking. You know, Chris Kaufman thinks, you know, that it's entirely possible. Because I was saying, look, if they took Keanu Benton, let's say, at 51, and then we turn around and took Tucker Kraft at 84, I would consider this an absolute home run of a draft. And he thinks that Miami might just look at it and say, you know what? We're taking Tucker Kraft right here at 51. Yeah, and we're not going to risk it. Tucker Kraft, I think, plays in all of the 12 personnel sets, which won't be many.
They're showing the snap counts right here.
You think he'd play in all the 12 personnel, like you said, there's not a lot this year? Or
this year, absolutely. So you're thinking, like, look, we'll game it out. All right. Let's say they have 11 snaps per game, 17 games, 11 times 17. See if you could look that up. If you can start adding
it's
that
like,
up.
I don't know. Is this you said 11 times 17?
11 times 17. I'm not good at arithmetic.
Let's
I don't know. It's like 190.
Let's do that.
189.
Let's do my favorite pastime, which is using a calculator on YouTube. 11 times 17.
I was 2 off. It's 187. I said
187. All right. So can you remember 187?
I can, sir.
Okay. Now we're gonna have some 22 personnel because we're gonna have some goal line plays, right? So let's say it's about 4 or 5 of those. 5 times 17. That's 85 plus 187. That's 272 snaps so far that you got your pick 51, right? And then let's say that Durham Smythe has an injury and there's 140 snap game in the future. You're talking about a little over 300 snaps as the backup tight end.
Are we ignoring Eric Saubert here?
Eric Saubert is if you use 51 on Tucker Kraft, sorry, Eric Saubert. You're now a backup for both of these guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And the top 2 guys are going to be Durham Smythe and Tucker Kraft. Is 300 snaps enough? I don't know. Yeah, you guys tell me.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter in this case because we're thinking we want a guy to help us now. How productive are those 300 snaps? If he comes in and they put him in situations that are really good for him, that really bode well for his talent and what he knows so far as a rookie, especially at tight end, then 300 snaps could be extremely valuable. But if it's just to fit him in to try and give him some practice and he's doing terrible, then no, that's not going to be good for us. We can't just draft for this year.
2 very good questions from Anthony Manzano. If we could put that one up, that's a good one. Yeah, he says, Alfredo, I think we need to stay away from Avila and Torrance. They're power gap guards. We're running an outside zone scheme, and I don't think they're athletic enough to play guard in that. I understand that. Avila can play in the outside zone scheme. Torrance is capable. He's really, really smart. But that's not why I'm taking Steve Avila. I'm taking Steve Avila because he's not going to allow a sack for the next 3 years. And he plays left guard, and he's going to be in front of your franchise quarterback who's been injury prone. So I think that's you keep talking about keeping Tua healthy. That's a huge start to getting Tua healthy.
That was part. He doesn't allow sacks. That was part of why I was saying. That was part of why I was saying DeJuan Jones wouldn't be a bad move either, even though he doesn't really fit the scheme per se. That's the balancing act. Where do you take talent over scheme fit? And if you're somebody who's good enough to get the job done, I don't care if you fit the scheme or not. Are you good? You're coming in.
Yeah, and then Indade writes, if we could put that one up, the hardest part for tight ends to learn are the routes, right? Absolutely, it's the timing. This is a timing offense. And when people think timing, okay, what is it that you mean? Well, it's pretty simple. When Tyreek Hill is here, you have to be here, which means you got to practice this thing. You got to rep it. You got to rep it once, rep it twice, rep it 15 times in practice. Make sure you get it right, because if you have the wrong depth, you could be leading Tua right into an interception. Okay? So when Tyreek Hill runs his dig and he makes his cut at 14, your bow route better be somewhere around 8. You need spacing of about 6 yards per those routes. So it's all timing. So that's what's important for a tight end. So yeah, that's why usually it takes them a while to develop. It's a difficult position to play in the
NFL. Isn't it also that it's not just that he has to learn all that, the receiving part of it as far as his routes and how deep to run them and where he needs to be, et cetera, but then he also needs to learn all his blocking assignments on pass protection, and then all his blocking assignments in the run game. So he's got, in essence, almost like 2 to 3 jobs that he has to learn all at the same time.
And he might be asked to play special teams for the first time in his life.
There you go. So I could understand when they say it takes tight ends time to develop in this league.
Yeah, it's not easy.
That's why. I mean, you have so much more. I mean, is there any other player that has more to learn on the position on the field besides quarterback? Maybe a linebacker, possibly. I mean, they can get complicated.
A center has to know all the protections. So
No, that's true. And a center.
Although sometimes some teams have their quarterback call all the protections, but yeah, you're right. It's quarterback, it's tight end.
So, but I mean, I understand the fit aspect of it, but I kind of want a guy who can do more than just can this guy catch passes? Is he a decent weapon? Tucker Kraft?
Absolutely. He's the best yak guy that you can get right there.
So why okay, so let me ask you this. Why does Sam Laporta get so much more love than Tucker Kraft? Is it just
he's more complete
perception?
and he went to Iowa and Tucker Kraft went to South Dakota State.
So it's a small school thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. If you ask me who's the better tight end, man, flip a coin. But I think Sam Laporta is probably the better tight end. But Tucker Kraft kind of fits the scheme. And then the differences are just so small that it doesn't make a difference either way. So let's start looking. We already looked at the tight ends. I don't think anybody else is in play there. So let's look at the offensive linemen. And
please don't tell me you're looking at tackles, because I've been looking at this whole Matthew Bergeron thing. You're gonna have to sell me on him, because I keep hearing so much about him. He's a project. We already have projects. They're named Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson.
Now Matthew Bergeron is the exact opposite of Steve Avila. Like, he is absolutely perfect for the system, for the white zone scheme. They have talked to him, and he's a brilliant run blocker. Okay. He's a really good run blocker. I don't agree with that pass blocking grade right there. Okay. And it's all over his film. His run blocking is better. Okay. I think he starts right away. I don't like the idea of playing him at tackle. I think, you know who Matthew Bergeron really reminds me of? Robert Hunt. You'd be adding another Robert Hunt. And
so would we kick Robert Hunt out to tackle and put in Bergeron at guard?
I think that the best move is to play Bergeron at left guard, because
okay,
because just like Robert Hunt, it's the same old thing. What do they keep saying about Robert Hunt? He's an average right tackle, but he could be a Pro Bowl right guard. So we don't want to move him, right?
Yeah.
I think Matthew Bergeron might end up being the same exact way. So I don't know. I don't like him here at 51. I think he's a possibility. Like, he's on the list. Like, he's a guy who might be a possibility.
Okay, the other guy that I've been hearing about, though, is Tyler Steen.
Nope. No chance at 51. And if they do, man, that's really out of left field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too
the one that I like, the one that I kind of like, but at 51, man, wow, what have we come to is Blake Freeland. Like, Blake Freeland is a guy that you just take and you say, all right, here we go. And he's playing right tackle, and I think he can do the job.
Why did he played almost all left tackle in 2022?
Yeah, but he's not going to play left tackle. Teron Armstead's there.
Yeah, this is true.
So he's a guy that at 51, I'd be like, damn, man, I guess you really drafted for need now. But if you take him at 84, I could get excited about it. I'll be like, you know what? The investment's not that big, and the upside's huge.
All right, so one last crack at this, because we're getting into 4 days.
No, this is going to be a long show. Sorry.
No, I meant one last crack at this question because we're probably about to make a pick and wrap up. Before we make this pick,
wrap up. We still got 3 more rounds, bro.
I meant wrap up the pick, Lewis. So before
to be fair, everybody else has already picked in front of us because the commissioner has bypassed us
like 3 times. We've already been
because we're still debating who we're gonna take, and then everybody else already took everything. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is where we leave realism behind.
What are the odds we go ahead, pull the I would say pull the plug. That's not really it. We go ahead and go for it and just take the second round pick and trade it for Steele from the Cowboys. Not very high, right? Yeah, I think it's kind of slim.
Well, I'll tell you how. That no longer happens, because remember he already signed his tender.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
that means that he's not tradable?
No, it just means we need to negotiate again.
Yeah, it means that he is now property of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they can trade him for whatever they want. But
yeah, so now you don't want to trade 51.
So you're thinking we should trade him for a lower pick?
Yes.
If we try to? Okay.
Yeah, like if you're interested in Terrence Steele, now's the time to start lowballing them and start. But if I'm the Cowboys, I'll be like, no, he's worth a second round pick.
What about our next year's 4th round pick and Cedric Wilson?
Click.
You go.
I mean, do you want to try it? It's not like you can't. I sincerely don't.
Click. Hello. Like you have Chris Greer like hello, and he'll be screaming at his secretary. I think I lost the line. No, they hung up on you, Chris.
Do you think that ever happens to him? But like,
I'm pretty sure it happens.
But hey, man. Hey,
Oh, he's not even on this list.
Yeah, this is Chris Greer. Click. Like he doesn't even get to ask the question.
For what
they
it's
just
worth,
automatically hang
the
on. This
Cowboys
guy's trying to rip me off.
The Cowboys don't seem to have him on this list for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, because it's after the draft. It's after the draft when it
untradeable.
goes. Yeah, he's untradeable right now whatsoever. You can't trade him until after the draft.
All right, so we're kind of at a standoff here because
there's more positions here. You know.
Yeah, I was
going
to say,
go to linebacker,
and
this is where it's going to get really, really interesting when you go to linebacker.
I mean, I was looking at when I did my mock draft for my show, I went ahead and did Henry To'oTo'o.
Boom.
At 51,
with the third rounder, I picked Laporta at 51.
And then you took Henry To'oTo'o at 84?
Yes.
You're fired.
I'm fired. Ouch. I mean,
he's
hey,
a nice player.
He's
a nice player, man, but at 84? No, man.
We could get him at 119.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, at 119. You like him enough? Stick around.
Well, we're not at 119. We're at 197.
Yeah, but don't take that guy at 84, man. You're throwing our picks away, Lewis.
But we're gonna have 119 because we are gonna make that trade with Minnesota. So let's just pretend
possibly,
even though the computer wouldn't let us.
All right, move up at 51. I'll tell you who's a possibility. They absolutely love the Marion Overshown. Okay, but I don't think at 51 he's a possibility. They could take him at 84. I think at 84, man. I think flip a coin, 50-50. He's at 84, and that's a guy that they might look at 84. The guy I would look at 51, and he makes a lot of sense going forward. But this is a guy that's not going to play a lot, and I don't think you're going to keep doing this every single year. You took Channing Tindall the year before. If you took Trent Simpson is essentially Jerome Baker. Okay, and he would be a cheaper Jerome Baker. If you took Trenton Simpson, I could read the future for you, like right now. If the Dolphins took Trenton Simpson at 51,
bye Jerome Baker.
Bye Jerome Baker. Not this year, but next year for sure. And Trenton Simpson this year plays very little, and then that's the guy that starts in place of Jerome Baker next year.
So where does Channing Tindall fit in, or is he?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Channing Tindall's the third guy. Channing Tindall's the third guy, and he plays the fill behind David Long. So, and he plays on third down as well. So I really like Trent Simpson a lot, but man, they took Trent Simpson. It's another one of those red shirt picks. So uninspiring.
Yeah, especially right now with linebacker. I mean, we drafted Tindall. We just added David Long. Now, if we drafted another linebacker, I mean, in a position that's not as much of a important as many others in the Fangio scheme.
And now I'm going to give you the most practical thing. And if you listen to our latest 3 yards per carry, we did our predictions. I was first to make my prediction. And I predicted that they would take Keanu Benton at 51. And actually, I predicted they would take Tucker Kraft at 87. So, and then here's where it gets ominous. When I asked Simon to give his prediction, he said, "This is funny, but my prediction is that they'll take Keanu Benton at 51." Okay.
Okay. So is this in preparation of Zach Sealer's departure then? Because the Christian Wilkins.
Yes, but he plays right away. Keanu Benton would play right away this year.
But he plays right away. Who are you sitting? You have Wilkins and you have Sealer. This doesn't make sense to me.
Wilkins and Sealer, we're going to play a lot of 5 tech. Okay, which is on the opposite end.
So this guy's more of a 3 tech.
He's a 3 tech and a 1 tech, which means that he's going to be in a rotation with Raekwon Davis.
Well, he's really the only 1 tech, except for maybe Raekwon, who honestly, Raekwon, if I wish they do it.
So Keanu Benton, remember what's going to happen with Keanu Benton. Okay, like if they take Keanu Benton at 51, you're like, okay, where are these snaps? Where are these snaps coming from? Well, last year John Jenkins, remember, was here. Okay, and he played plenty. All of those snaps, remember, they're gone. John Jenkins is no longer here. Okay. I think he went to Las Vegas. So right there, that's a pile of snaps that are going to Keanu Benton, right? Then you can have Raekwon Davis kicking out a little bit more to 3 tech, and Keanu Benton is going to be playing a lot of 1 shade. So there's more snaps. Christian Wilkins is going to play more 5-tech in this system than he did before.
Okay, that's fine. That's great, I think. I think that's better for him.
So now you're starting to find snaps all over the place because now you essentially now have 2 interior defensive linemen and you have 3 exterior defensive linemen in Sealer, Wilkins, and Agba.
Yeah.
And then you have your edge guys, which is Chubb,
Phillips.
So in other words, Phillips will
crazy.
Yeah, they're good, right? Like the team is the fucking Death Star, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a good roster, people. Yeah,
that's a good roster. Jeez, that's crazy. I just never really thought about it like that before. That's nuts.
In-date asks, what do you think is the Wilkins trade value? 5 first-round picks.
I like it. Hey, somebody had just asked about had we given up on, I don't know if you can bring it back up, given on Raekwon Davis. I was just going to say this as a guy who's watched Raekwon Davis play a lot in college too. His best year, I think he was sophomore. He came in, he was a lot lighter and he rushed at a lighter weight. He really got after the quarterback. And then they wanted to put on a bunch of weight and they made him more of an interior guy. I just wonder if you drafted this guy. I mean, I know then we really need the 2 interiors, but it'd be nice almost to let Raekwon slim down and get after the quarterback some more. He was really good at it in college when they let him do that. But part of the reason why he dropped down his second round and wasn't a first is because they really changed what they had him doing after they had him gain weight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And remember that Brian Flores for 2 years had him playing 0. So essentially his job was to get beat up. His job was to get beat up for 60 minutes.
And he did.
The new Paul Soul guy. His job was to just eat up blockers and let everybody else get in the way.
He's going to be asked to do more now. And remember, he is also a free agent at the end of the year. So, you're building in some fail safes here. Raekwon Davis is going to be asked to do a little bit more. Maybe he develops and he makes Zach Sealer a little easier to let go because Zach Sealer is going to cost money. So, man, the more I look at it.
But I feel like they can work around this. I feel like Zach Sealer, even if you have to pay him, it would be worth it to keep him around. You can work around getting rid of this stuff because watch, this is something I had brought up not too long ago, was that if you were to cut, let's say 2024, you cut Emmanuel Ogbah and you cut Jerome Baker, you make one of them a post June 1st cut. It's whatever. Already you're saving like $23 million just by cutting those 2 guys, which is money that you could set aside to keep your guy, Zach Sealer. And then the next season, you're going to be able to pay off whoever comes next and so on and so forth. Plus, not only that, the salary cap is projected to continue rising up like it's the stocks trade. So it's going to go ballistic when 2025 rolls around, which now if Tyreek Hill is serious about retiring, all that money comes off the books. So
you're still short. You're still short defensive linemen.
You're still short defensive linemen, yes, but I'm not because we're projecting this as a replace Zach Sealer pick, not a supplement.
We're looking at this as a guy who's going to be in the rotation and that could replace Zach Sealer in a year pick. That's the way I look at Keanu Benton. And you got to remember what we have outside. We are absolutely stacked outside. We have Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Those are the starters. We have Andrew Van Ginkel and Malik Reed as backups. So
for this season, anyway.
So what do we have inside? Inside, you need at least 4 guys. They got 3. You can't play a season with 3 interior defensive linemen.
Yeah.
All right. So we really do got.
So no matter what, they're gonna have to go find one somewhere, and they need one. Okay. Now let's talk about what could be an extremely sexy pick, and let's put up the wide receivers.
Yeah.
I
am completely against drafting a wide receiver in this spot.
Are you looking for Jonathan Mingo?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I say no.
6'2", 220 pounds, 4'4". Played 147 snaps in line as a tight end. Willing blocker. Can you imagine this monster out there in the slot with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill? Just go nuclear with our offense. You know?
Day 3 in the draft. And we still made a pick. We're sitting there by ourselves. Everybody's left.
We're moved on to the 2024 draft.
Yeah. We're still trying to. We already won the Super Bowl. We haven't even picked our day 2 pick yet from 23.
You know?
Yeah, I'll bet you no show has had a longer. I mean, you would think we were like
nobody's ever pontificated at 51 more than this show.
Yeah.
So look, if you want, sexy,
I don't even think the Miami Dolphins have discussed this pick
as much as we have. Yeah, I love Jonathan Mingo. All right, move off of Jonathan Mingo. Let's go more sexy running backs, and let's see what's that running back.
Oh boy. Okay. Oops. Sorry.
Whoa! Did you just take Josh Downs? Like that would have been awful.
No, I didn't take anybody.
Okay.
Charbonnet, Devin Achane,
Tyjae Spears, who Chris Kaufman absolutely loves. Yeah, it's your pick of the litter. You know, like you can get whoever the hell you want. You know, at running back.
I really don't think the Dolphins. Like, first of all, I don't think Chris Greer is going to touch running back at 51 with a 10-foot pole. I don't care how much Mike McDaniel.
If Jahmyr Gibbs is there, he does.
Yeah, I think if Jahmyr Gibbs is there,
Jahmyr Gibbs was taken all the way up here. There's no way he's going to
like 40. He was taken up at like 40.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is there. Mike McDaniel starts telling him, you know what?
Yeah, they run to the podium on that one.
Yeah. So look, Devon Achane is a possibility. Okay, he's the fastest running back in the draft. All right. So he's absolutely a possibility. So
goes back with the speed thing. Yeah, just add more speed.
Yeah, back to the speed.
Clearly, that's what they're trying to continue and even add more of this year.
Yeah, I think that the offensive line is not attractive at this point. I think your choices are pretty clear. I think it's Blake Freeland, it's Keanu Benton, it's either a sexy pick and Jonathan Mingo, or you're going and you're going to get your tight end here, Sam Laporta, or Tucker Kraft. If I'm making this pick, there's two ways I go. Sexy is Jonathan Mingo. Looking forward is Keanu Benton. Safest, Sam Laporta. So
I mean, I think I'm taking. I already made my pick for my show. My other show. I'm picking Laporta. That's just me.
All right, then I'm for Laporta unless Ron.
You guys, if you both go Laporta, it doesn't matter what I think. But yeah, Laporta.
No, he's saying there was a proviso there. Who would you pick?
Oh, Laporta. Okay, but I was very, very much talked into.
We're gonna look like idiots if 84 comes around and Tucker Kraft is still there.
I mean, there's a distinct possibility that might be the case.
You know.
But you did a great job of selling me on Benton, Alf. Like a great job. Yeah. Like if they went that way this time in the real draft, I will not cry at all. You sold me on that.
Yeah. Do you want to try to trade? So do you want to try to trade down a few picks and see if you can still get your hands on Benton?
I'm wondering where put back the tight ends.
It's a good thing we're not.
I'm wondering where I can get Tucker Kraft. And then my backup plan would be Brenton Strange, and obviously I wouldn't take him at 84. Luke Shoemaker, we all hate him on our show. We're the anti-Luke Shoemaker show on 3YPC. So we're not fans of his. Tucker Kraft, I'm wondering if I could get him at 84. You know, so let's do a very quick exercise here. Let's look down the list and see who needs a tight end.
The tight end. I was just thinking that because I feel like a lot of tight ends have been taken.
Detroit, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's going to screw us right there. What pick is Cincinnati? 60? Yeah, we're screwed. Like, who's after that? Oh, yeah.
After Cincinnati comes.
So now, wait a minute. If we don't take Sam Laporta, remember, that keeps another tight end in the bank for someone else to take.
Yeah, but I think
so. It may not happen. It's possible.
The Lions
I say this. I say, just out of curiosity, because whether we take Laporta changes whether Tucker Kraft. I almost said Tucker Carlson. Sorry, whether Tucker Kraft would be there or not at 84. Let's just play with it. Why not? we don't take Laporta, we take Benton, and let's see what happens at 84. We don't have to do it, but it's just
if you changed your vote, then that means I lose. So Keanu Benton it is. All right, let's do it.
All right, we got to do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Let's draft Keanu Benton. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and go to the next one because I assume we're not going to, before we keep going, I'm assuming we're not going to actually make any trades, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go as fast as we can, and we'll just run through everything we can because we've been going a long time. By the way, Joe Tippmann and Matthew Bergeron went right after us.
Don't care about Tippmann.
And Bergeron's gone, so there you go. All right, moving on. Let's go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go. Okay.
I don't even want to see it.
All right, so we're on the clock at 84.
Go to tight end.
Go all the way back to all those picks so we can see who got taken.
So here we go. Uzoma. Is that
so I could go through all these guys. He's of no consequence. Isaiah Foskey, no consequence. Trenton Simpson, that's an interesting one, and he'll be a nice player for the Jaguars. Josh Downs, who cares? Dayton Henley. Tyreek Stevenson, everybody thinks he's going to be good. I saw him play at the U. He's not. If he goes to Buffalo, that's good. Antonio Johnson. Saika Ika is an interesting one because he is he's like a backup plan to Keanu Benton. Like Saika Ika is a guy that you look at 84 if they don't take a defensive tackle at 51. Like that's a guy that you look at 84 and you say, look, this is going to fill a need. Devin A-Chain to the Eagles, the rich get richer. Derek Hall to the Chiefs. DJ Turner at 64 is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. And that's a guy I would have considered at 51. The only thing is that we take another, he's one of my favorite cornerbacks. And this is a guy that they would have loved to have taken. And I think in the first round, I think this is this looks interesting that DJ Turner's here at 64. This is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it won't happen in the draft, you don't think?
Not a chance. He is a top 30 player. He will be in the first round, DJ Turner.
I wonder what caused this algorithm to...
Yeah, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. That's because they took too many offensive linemen or they took too many wide receivers in the first round, and they didn't take enough cornerbacks. DJ Turner is maybe the 5th best cornerback, and I think they're putting him here as like the 8th or something like that. So that's a mistake. All right. No opinion. Charbonnet he makes so much sense to the Cardinals. Sam Laporta to Denver is absolutely perfect. Like that's a perfect pick for the Broncos.
For them.
Yeah, that's precisely what they need. Cedric Tillman, I don't care. He might be better than the other guy, although I like Hyatt a lot. Tuli Tuipolo, no consequence. Clark Phillips, Jartarius Martin, Jonathan Mingo to the Texans are killing this draft.
Texas have a lot of picks, man. They're getting
Steen.
This
All right, go Zach Pickens,
Jalen
Duncan, Tucker Kraft, and we got absolutely screwed. All right, Nick Herbig, Marvin Mims, very nice player. Demarion Overshawn, that's a bad one. Darius Rush, Zach Harrison, Brian Young on the clock. I know exactly where I'm going. Not there. Go to running backs.
Okay.
Tajay Spears. And you don't have to think about it. Go for it.
And look at his rank. Look at his rank.
Yeah, 84. right around where we get him.
Yeah.
Equal value. Well, that's too bad. We weren't that far off on Tucker Kraft, but it didn't work out how we'd hoped.
So we're giving up on the whole Dalvin Cook dream then. Is that what we're doing here? Because if you're going to draft a running back high, you're going to say, listen, we don't need Dalvin Cook.
I think in real life, though, I think, excuse me, if that trade hasn't happened by Friday, it's probably not going to happen.
Right. He'll get cut.
Yeah,
it'll be one of those things where they'll either sign him or they won't.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So I guess we'll get our tackle thing situated with Cameron Fleming. Maybe
wait a minute. Let's do one thing. Go look at the tackles really quickly because there's one guy that I don't know if I saw him, if he got taken or not. Go to offense. take Blake Freeland. That's no brainer.
So Blake Freeland over Spears.
So we have two
because Azikama is still on there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake Freeland it is. So we guess we have a tackle after all. We don't have to draft. We don't have to worry about signing. Well, I'm sure they'll sign Cameron Fleming eventually. So now we have to just wait a while because this is we don't get there until the 6th round.
Stop it right there. 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 All right, that's what 123.
Yeah, that's 121 is where we
okay,
stop.
What do we have left? We have 197 and 238.
Correct. So let me scroll
go back
up,
to our pick. Go back to our pick. Blake Freeland. Raji Rice, by the way, has he has some character concerns. All right, keep going. Tyler Scott's a burner.
There's my linebacker.
The Toto. Okay, keep going. Tank Bigsby. Nice one. Jordan Battle. Keep going slowly. Sidney Brown, Trey Palmer, Rashawn Johnson. I liked. All right, Garrett Williams, Nathan. Keep going. Bryant Young, Tajee Spears goes through. Look, perfect scheme fit. All right, keep going. Brenton Strange, there he is. Keep going.
Schumacher before after Strange.
Yeah. All right, that's 122. Okay. Look at the running backs and see where Abanikanda is.
I don't think we can see that until it's our
turn. It's our
again.
pick. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep going.
All right, so just keep going. Because I was trying to see if we could trade a future pick and our 197 to get somewhere in there.
All right, so we'll stop for a moment. So who's the guy that you're looking for exactly?
Abanikanda, the running back from Pittsburgh.
So here's Carl Brooks. I had tried to pick him in round 6, so he didn't make it that far.
Yeah, Anthony Bradford's interesting as a guard, as a developmental guard. We don't have enough picks is the problem here.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, Sean, I don't even know how to say it. Braden Daniels, Cameron Young, Dorian Williams, Nick Hampton. So this is basically what it's
kind of just got taken right there, 142. So I was right. Remember I told you to stop at around what, 130 or something like that?
Yeah.
So basically I'm out on the draft right here, and I'm just waiting for 197, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to go BPA.
Okay, so basically we're going to keep moving on then. So let's just turbo speed this thing. So
makes it quicker when
this is what it feels. This is what it feels like, though. This is what it's going to feel like on draft day for the Dolphins. It's like we're just going to walk around and see what's going to be happening. So 2 safeties, a halfback, Keaton Mitchell. No. Any thoughts on him?
No. Go to wide receiver. Move down a little bit. No. Go to tight end. No, not even Josh Wiley is there. Keep going. No, I don't like any of these guys. All right, linebacker.
So this is what it's going to feel like now with the 6th round. So linebacker.
Ventromino is interesting, by the way. Go down. Nah, it's not like these all look.
These are all undrafted free agents.
Yeah, these are all UDFAs.
Yeah, you can have all these guys.
Go to cornerback, which is a deep class. There might be a guy there. Keep going. Anthony Johnson's interesting too. Keep going. Pickings are very, very slim.
Painfully slim right now.
Yeah, go to offensive line to see what's left over.
All right, I'll start with the tackles.
Can you imagine they used to do 12 rounds?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, that was like 30, 40 years ago. There was guys being taken in the.
All right, we already got it. We already
got a tackle.
So we need an interior guy. See if there's an interior guy to develop. No, I don't like any. Alex Forsyth maybe, but
you can get him as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, that's a UDFA type.
Okay, I'm just going to remove all pretense of position and just go with what the rankings are. So Anthony Johnson Jr., safety out of Iowa State.
I mean, we need another safety.
By the way, something to bring up. And did Deshaun Elliott get caught up in the whole Lions gambling scandal or no?
I didn't know.
Not that I know.
I don't even know what that is. What's that about?
So certain players on the Detroit Lions got caught with like fantasy football gambling or something along those lines, and so they're being suspended.
For how long?
I think it was like 6 games or something like that.
Yeah,
some
man,
guys for
you
6
don't mess
games.
around with that stuff.
Some guys for 6 games. The other guys for the entire season.
Yeah, they don't, because who was it Calvin Ridley? No, who was the wide receiver who got suspended for an entire season?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, it was, yeah. And I think that was around fantasy too. They don't play. They look at stuff like that as integrity of the game. That's why that someone will do something that's of.
By the way, put up Scuba's comment right there.
Which one? Which one? He's got a lot of them.
The one right under who did Cincy take in the first, right there. You see it?
Oh.
Cocaine Bear.
That's how he plays. If you watch him play, he kind of. Did you see the movie Cocaine Bear?
Not yet.
Apparently, there's not a whole lot of bear in that movie. But
I will, fine. But I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, that's how he plays.
So basically, a very violent defensive tackle.
He plays with violence, yes.
Okay, well, I mean, hopefully you don't get a whole bunch of roughing the passer penalties.
Oh,
for slightly
I can't believe
Aaron
I forgot this guy. Go to running back. Go to running backs. I can't believe I forgot this guy.
Okay, so running backs. We're back to running backs again. Keaton Mitchell, Kenny McIntosh, Travis Dye, Mohamed Ibrahim.
Keep going. They talked to Kenny McIntosh, by the way. Hunter Lemke as well. Where is
Jordan Mims? To Xavier Valade.
There he is. Pick him.
You don't think he'll be available like near the 7th? That's where I actually picked him in the 7th in my draft on FanSpeak.
You take your chances then, I guess. But other than that, like that's a guy that they've talked to a lot. He makes a lot of sense to me. I don't like what's on the interior of offensive line.
I personally would take the risk with him. That's just me. Is there any safeties that you'd like?
The best one is
Hey, is this any relation?
No, but he's pretty good. He's a nice
Taylor
player.
The second, not no relation to our Jason Taylor. Oh well, then I guess it doesn't matter that much.
Trey Dean's a nice player, and I go back up. Now the problem is that he's slow as molasses. Like he tested awful, but he's a UDFA type every day.
All right. So I'm trying to figure out where we can go from here. Well, so what so this guy Anthony Johnson's ranked 90. So what's the deal with him?
He's a good player. He's
the best according to PFF anyway. He's the best player on the board right now.
So, take him.
He's a fine player, but we're not,
we're talking about 6th round.
Yeah,
they're all undrafted free agent types at that point. 6th round, 7th round. They're all bottom guys. I mean, really, for me, I think there's 5 rounds, and they should just make it all undrafted free agents after that.
I don't know, but that part of me.
By the way, Jason Taylor II is named after his late father, who was shot and killed when he was 8 years old, and that's why he added the second on his name.
Well, this show just got dark real fast.
Yeah, that was depressing. All right, who we taking, guys? Who we taking?
I mean, if it's up to Al, we're taking Valade now. I don't know.
Then do it. Go for it. Let's make it happen. We're going to be looking at all these same names in another minute, by the way. When we got to draft our next pick.
Oh, boy. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and I'll pick the guy.
Do it.
I feel like he could be had later, but that's just me.
Well, since we can't decide on any other pick, we'll just do this.
Wait.
What I'm getting here is that we need more picks.
Well, yeah. There's really not a linebacker that we can take. You said Ventrell Miller was interesting.
Yes.
Can you?
I think he'd be a good special teamer. I think he'd be a good special teamer going.
So
forward.
Basically,
there's nothing wrong with drafting a guy who would be a special teamer specialist in 6th round.
Like possibly, his upside is maybe Duke Riley, something like that. Like that'd be a great thing.
Duke Riley's his upside. I don't know. You're not selling me on him.
That's not exactly very.
Well, we're picking in the 6th round here,
That's true. I don't know. We got to take somebody, guys.
Cam Jones is also interesting. They're all in the same lot. You know what I mean? I think Valladay might actually Valladay actually makes sense. You know?
All right, fine. You've twisted my arm enough. I'll go ahead.
Right,
and
he
pick
wins.
Valladay.
Take Valladay. There you go.
I still think he's going to be available later. I really do, but that's just me.
Well, I tried that once and it didn't work out for me, but maybe you would have done better.
All right, and here we are, 238, and Anthony
Hey,
Johnson.
take Anthony Johnson.
And that's where you take him because you're getting good value there. His problem is if I want him to look him up, I'll look him up for you here.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Is there like some kind of like a character concern with this kid?
He did it. He took a rip out of a bong mask.
Yeah, that's a death knell.
Now his problem is that he has he didn't test all that great.
So this is combine torture.
It's essentially combine torture, although his 40-yard dash time is fine.
Man, he must have been terrible, at least according to this algorithm. Probably it's not likely that he'll be sitting around.
Can you put him back? Can you put him back?
Put him back.
At him? Okay, I'm looking at him. All right. Here's the problem. That's Anthony Johnson.
Okay.
The guy who's really good at safety is Antonio Johnson.
But I'm sure he was already drafted.
Yeah, he was drafted a lot earlier. Anthony Johnson is an absolute slug as far as athletically, but he's a guy. He has some good comparables because he can't come off the hash pretty good, so he's kind of perfect for like a nickel safety.
So Brandon Jones.
He was a team captain at Iowa State.
Oh well, that Chris Greer loves team captains.
Okay, 54 starts. He played a little cornerback as a sophomore, so that's.
I say we take him.
Now his where his problems would be.
Oh yeah, he was all over the place as a corner in 2020, 2020.
Yeah, he's not going to play in the box, okay, which is kind of good because we have Brandon Jones, right? Which means this guy will never play in the box for us, so you'll never see him come down off the hash. So he's going to be single high guy. He's essentially the guy that we already have, McKinley, Jerome McKinley. Yeah, so you draft this guy, and it's Jerome McKinley and Anthony Johnson, and they're battling it out. I think this is a pretty good pick if you take them right here.
Yeah, I mean all the top guys right now. Well, we filtered it by safeties, but like a safety, wide receiver, safety, an edge guy.
You can always take Stetson Bennett and try to find the next Brock Purdy.
Here we go. The Miami Dolphins pick 7th round.
That would really shock me. If you signed Mike White, you're keeping Skyler. I don't know. Be weird.
You could always have Skyler and Stetson Bennett battle it out for the 3rd string.
That's true. And because do you think they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster again, Alf?
Yes. Are you kidding? Yes, absolutely.
So what you're saying is they'll keep them on the 53. They're going to keep Skyler on the 53.
Yes,
and keep him, but maybe not
unless Bennett beats him
game day. Maybe they will.
If Bennett beats him, then no, they won't keep Skyler.
No, that's what I meant. Like if we weren't to get some, I don't think they'll take another quarter. I think they'll just stick with the 3. I don't even know if they'll bring a 4th one into camp. Honestly, because they can still use Skyler in rookie camp.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and call it here. Anthony Johnson Jr. It is. Just getting value. Boom.
Let's see who Mr. Irrelevant was. Or will be.
Oops.
Oh.
Okay. So full results. So scroll all the way down. And right after Anthony Johnson went Chris Rodriguez Jr., Ventrell Miller went to the Giants. Right after that, Jason Taylor II, Ronnie Bell, Kayvon Merriweather, Cameron Peoples, Mohamed Diabetes. I said that on purpose.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
So Mr. Irrelevant was O'Shawn Mathis and Edge to the Texans.
All right.
And Stetson Bennett did not get selected. So there you go. Primary undrafted free agent, I suppose.
Can we take a look at our draft, see how we ended up? I mean, I think we know. Okay.
All right, let's take a look. So this is our final results here. So very different than from what I did during my show. I'll say that. I mean, I picked Xavier Baladay in the 7th round. They gave us an F for Xavier Baladay.
Dang. They just do that. The only way they grade this is it depends on where they were ranked versus where. That's all they do.
No, I know. It's
like these, like, look, he was ranked 58. We drafted him 51, so that's a C. He was ranked 108. We drafted him 84, so that's a C plus. He was ranked 384. I mean, that's all they're doing. And because he was ranked 90, it's an A. It's kind of silly.
So I guess our final grade is like a D plus.
Whatever. I don't think it matters much.
But we got 2 useful players.
Absolutely.
And one guy
and Mike McDaniel got his project running back, and then there's the guy for the secondary.
Okay, so you're saying Blake Freeland is the useful guy. Do you really think he beats Austin Jackson? I
maybe.
I don't think that'd be hard. I think I'd be scared if he didn't. How about that?
I don't know. I'm trying to give Austin Jackson the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I mean, he's putting in work this offseason, so at least that's good.
I'm sure he puts in work every offseason.
Does he?
I have no doubt about his desire to play, the work he puts in. I'd say that's for 95%+ of players. I know they put in more work in the gym than I do, that's for sure. But I know that these guys put in a lot of work, more than we realize or see during the offseason. He's just not getting it done. What's this? His 4th season or a 3rd? 4th, right?
4th.
Dude, he should be a lock solid starter right now on one of the tackle spots. Like, I mean, if 4th season,
supposedly he is.
And we're still sitting there talking about those 16 snaps he had with the Patriots. 4th season, dude, get this guy off my team, man. I'm tired of this. It's enough hanging on to this guy. No offense to him, but it's enough. He's just taking up a spot. He's just taking up a spot for somebody else at this point. They need to replace him. It's frustrating. I guess I get why they have obviously a really good left tackle, but I don't think they emphasize the tackle spots as much as they emphasize the guard and center because of Tua, the way he plays and how quickly they get rid of the ball anyway. Tua gets rid of the ball faster than almost anybody. Plus the offense is designed to do that. So blocking from the tackle isn't as important in the pass game. In my opinion. I don't know how you feel about it, Alf.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I know. I'm just thinking that that's the only reason to me why you say, "Hey, give me Ramsey, give me this, give me that, and I'll deal with Austin Jackson at right tackle." That's the only reason
they may not deal with Austin Jackson. Even if we don't pick up Blake Freeland, I'm still convinced that they're eventually going to pick up Cameron Fleming, simply because, first of all, he did really well in Denver. Butch Barry knows him. I'm sure that's why they brought him in for a visit, because Butch Barry was knocking on McDaniel's door and saying, "Hey, listen, I'm going to give your kid Austin Jackson a shot, but I want my guy, please, and thank you."
Yeah, no, I understand that it's only April, so we still have several months for something to happen. I'm just saying, if it ends up that way come August, right? We start camp and Austin Jackson's still there. The reason is they think they could just manage through that. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing with Austin Jackson. It's just
maybe they think Butch Barry can get him in gear. I don't know.
They're going to give him the chance, but I don't think that Butch Barry's career as an offensive lineman here rests on his ability to be able to get Austin Jackson where he should be, because I don't think they feel that that's super likely. I think they're just going to make it do. It's just make it work. That's it. Whatever they got to do. More protection, probably more why they're going to have more blocking tight end focus and not a tight end who just catches passes, etc. Things like that. They're just going to make that work however they have to. More help at the tackle spot like last year, I guess.
All right, so that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this mock draft onto Twitter, so we'll get some eyeballs on this. We'll let other people judge it. And on Thursday, the draft happens. And are we going to be going live on for the first round just in case Chris Greer does something crazy? I think we are.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's happening.
Who's we? So, I am not available Thursday. I'm sorry.
Is that conveniently because it's the draft, or are you actually doing something?
I am actually doing something. I am actually doing something that night.
Okay, how about Friday? Because there's still second and third rounds.
I will have to let you know. I'd rather do Friday because it makes sense. Because unless we jump up, which I don't think we will. Yeah, Friday's a good possibility. I could see Friday happening. When's the draft start? Like 7:30. I could see Friday happening. Thursday, I cannot though.
Alrighty, so we'll get into all that. Alf, thank you for helping us walk through all these prospects. You probably know more about the draft and all that other stuff more than I've ever even known. Ron, of course, for your colorful commentary, much appreciated.
Yes, that's all I have to offer during draft talk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a draft guy either. Like you want me at my best, talk to me during training camp. That's when I'm at my best. So,
man, we got to get you back out there, man.
Well, my job is daytime now, so it's
that's true. That's true. Plus you get in trouble every time you do that kind of crap.
Yes, by showing up. All right. Well, anyway, thank you all so much for sticking with us. For those people who stuck with us, thank you, Scuba, for hanging in there, still wearing the Jimmy Butler jersey. Yeah, that was an amazing thing. I should have picked the over on him on Prize Picks. So, oops, I didn't think about it. Should I almost want to pick the under because I feel like Jimmy Butler's going to be exhausted this next game.
How many points did he score? I don't even know. I only know that the Heat won and Butler was amazing. That's all I heard.
56 points.
Holy crap, 56. That's nuts. How does a guy who seems good during the regular season be just so insane during the playoffs?
He doesn't give a damn during the regular season.
That's how I don't know, man. That guy just clicks into another gear, like into 3 or 4 more gears during the playoffs. It's insane.
All right. So for anybody who hasn't yet, go to OnlyFins. They're prepping the undrafted free agent lists, and you're going to get some interesting stuff over there if you haven't already done so. We're going to go ahead and call it here. Make sure you go to prizepicks.com. Make sure you check out You Break Wheel Fix. We're going to go ahead and call it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you all next week for a reaction to the draft on the Pulse of Fins Nation. Good night, everybody.